What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome to the Tailgate Talk. Go ahead and start posting your comments as you're watching this, and get ready for our Tailgate Talk. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to DraftKings and the Pigskin Podcast Network before we get this started. But as we get started, go ahead and start posting your questions, comments, and concerns for this upcoming game against the Ravens. We've got a lot to talk about and a lot of news coming in literally as I'm talking right now. So make sure you guys are posting those comments. First, a big shout out to the Pigskin Podcast Network. All right, here we go. Here we are. I know a lot of you guys are super excited. I'm flying solo today on the Tailgate Talk because 50% of the Orange Weekly crew is at the game right now. They're actually pre-gaming, actually having a tailgate down there at Mile High. I get to hang out in my closet with you guys with my my orange drink. So grab a drink, post your comments and concerns as we start rolling in some of the news on the day. Unfortunately, I just found out as I'm reading, I'm getting that update on my Apple Watch. It looks like Graham Glasgow and Dalton Reisner. We already knew Graham Glasgow was ruled out for the day. It looks like Dalton Reisner is also ruled out. So we got you got Muti and Miners as our starters at guard, both rookies. It might be a little bit of tough sledding for those guys on the inside. Two rookies in the second year in our center. I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. But as we get going, it's going to be rough sledding on the inside, guys. It's a big part. Cushionberry. There we go. I don't know. I remember that. Anyways, it's a big sledding right now on the inside, and that's what I'm really concerned with. We want to get the run game going, Rob. Hey, what's up, brother? Appreciate you joining, Anthony. Tony, I appreciate you being here as well. So yeah, got to be a lot of running today, guys. That's the unfortunate part. We have two guards, Muti, and they both played well when they came in last time. So I'm trying not to get too down on myself. The other news is on the Ravens side, Derek Wolfe was placed on the IR. Our good friend Derek Wolfe was placed on the IR yesterday, so he will not be playing against us. So their injuries on the defensive line go right up with our injuries on the offensive line. So yeah, next man up, and we just keep on rolling. Yeah, again, half our guys are at the Bronco game at the tailgate right now at that down there at Mile High. So I'm rolling a little solo. So I'm really expecting you guys. I need your comments, guys. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns about this upcoming games, things you're thinking about, what you want, please make sure you post them. I'm gonna take this time to go ahead and plug our Ragers podcast, our pregame and postgame podcast. If you guys listen to podcasts on your favorite podcast listening devices, please go and subscribe to those. Those are going to be super important. We really appreciate you guys' support and everything that goes with it. Oh, we got Jason. Jason, welcome to the Tailgate Talk. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I was flying solo there for a minute. I'm glad you could join. We were talking about the Graham Glasgow and Dalton Reisner both being ruled out. How you feeling about it?
Nervous.
Yeah.
Anytime both your starting guards are out, it's going to be a challenge. I'm not saying it's not a challenge that our two young guys can't step up for, but they're going to have their hands full. So we'll see how they adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little rough. It's good. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a little rough sledding. And I think they put it out there. Next man up. The mentality. You got to have that mentality, and that's what we're going to have to roll with as the Broncos roll today. Some shout outs. Chris, welcome. Hey Shane, how's it going? How's everything going, guys? Thank you guys so much for. So yeah, hey, we are at home, so that's a good point, Curtis. We do have the home field advantage. Everyone's been dubbing this game, homecoming 2.0, opening day 2.0 against these Ravens. I know it's going to be absolutely monstrous in that crowd. Like, it's going to be unreal. I wish I was there. I'm a little jealous of those guys that are there.
Yeah, it'll be. Right. It'll be a good, that atmosphere is always helpful for sure. Denver's always a rowdy place to play in. And, I think too, this isn't the necessarily the hardest game that the Ravens have seen, but it's going to be one of them. People keep saying that for the Broncos, this is the hardest team they've faced so far this year, which is true. But the Ravens, yeah, they've had a strong schedule. They obviously played Kansas City, but it's no easy time to come into Denver and try to win a game here, and the altitude, with all the noise and all that stuff as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big point. The games they had some tough games too, right? Vegas is still undefeated, I believe. They also playing this afternoon. I think they play tonight, right?
I think they have tomorrow night's game.
Yeah. You have Kansas City, who's obviously, been to the Super Bowl a couple times, still Patrick Mahomes. They got those guys. Detroit last week, that was a little rough. They had a couple guys out with COVID, a couple injury concerns, and they barely won on a Justin Tucker golden foot there towards the end. All right, let's see. We got if our defense is a couple points here. If our defense can keep Lamar contained in the pocket, maybe shake him up, get him out to the no-fly zone. That's one of the ragers I took this week. I don't think he made it a rager, but I took one interception for Lamar Jackson. It's even money right now, which means the betting public also believes he's going to be throwing an interception. I think that contain's going to be a big part. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I think it's not just the contain, but getting to him in the pass rush as well. I can't remember the exact stat, but I think I saw something where games where he has been sacked 4 or more times, he's 5-5. Games he's been sacked only once, he's like 10-1, something stupid like that. So obviously, if we're able to, and I think it starts in the early downs, right? I mean, if they love the run only option, that's their kind of bread and butter right now. And so if we're able to hold them to those short distance yard gains, first and second down, force them to a 3rd and long, or even 3rd and medium, where they're probably going to pass. That's when our pass rush can get in there and disrupt it. As great as Lamar Jackson is reading defenses with the run option, there's always been that question on the legitimacy of his pass game. Yeah, he's a good passer. I'm not going to deny that. But his strength is the run game. His strength is that run option. And so I think, if not only can we, contain him in the pocket, but get to him in the pocket, but we're only going to be able to get that pressure in there if we're able to force them into those 3rd and medium, 3rd and long down. So it's going to be the first and second downs are what's going to be key, I think, in limiting their run ability, especially with Le'Veon Bell making his debut today as well.
Yeah, they activated Le'Veon Bell to be one of 4 running backs on that squad. I don't remember why they kept him down. I remember why they elevated him back up, but whatever the reason, he is going to be probably getting a couple balls just to get his feet wet. He is a prolific runner. That is undoubtedly true. So we're going to have to be on the lookout for that. On the offensive side, Shane said, Steve, you also said we got to keep Lamar contained. I think that's the plan for the week. We cannot let him get outside. We have to play very good contain on the outside. Critical to start with the run on the offensive side. Thank you, Shane, for the comment. Yeah, I think we need to get the run going, but I also think that we have, from what we've seen in the last 3 weeks, I think Teddy Bridgewater has proven himself to be a smart quarterback to be able to make the plays to get downfield and get the first down if we need to, and be able to get the ball 20 yards down if we need to. So I foresee, and Jason, you tell me if you see different, I think this is going to be more of a 50-50 pass run, where in the past, it's a little bit more on the run because we kind of had the game handed towards the end of the game. I think this is going to be a 50-50 game. It's going to be close to the wire.
Absolutely. And not just that, I think it's important too, in terms of keeping the balance of your offense and keeping the defense guessing. You have to run and it might not be successful, especially early on. We're probably going to see some runs early on that are only going for, a couple yards, but we're going to keep running the ball for the point being, open up the play action option, keeping that defense guessing. So they're not just always stacking the box. They're also not just completely playing pass protection as well. And so, as great as it would be to, have our running backs have, a breakout game, and that'd be awesome to see. I don't know if I would expect to see that, but I would expect, us to stick with the run, even if it's not necessarily working, just to keep that balanced approach and keep the Ravens defense, guessing and instead of being able to become predictable. Yeah,
RPO is a good look. Teddy Bridgewater runs that pretty well as long as it's not a triple option. And Not a huge fan of running our quarterback up the middle or out to the side, especially against a hard-hitting team like the Ravens, right?
I would like him to slide a little bit more, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He took some lip last week.
Yeah, he did, and there was a couple times I was like, just go down, man, just go down. I know we can't lose you. I know we got Locke in the back. It's not like we have the worst backup in the world, but oh man, that would have been rough. All right, there's a lot of comments in here. I'm going to try to get to all of them. A couple of them, especially talking about Vaughn. Let's see. Lamar Jackson's going to be calling Vaughn daddy just like Cam did in the Super Bowl. I appreciate that. Thank you, Andrew. Let's see. Defense needs to be aggressive. Steve asks says, I wonder if we're going to try to have a spy on him or if we're just going to try to contain. You know, if it was Josie Jewell, if Josie Jewell wasn't injured, I definitely would have seen that. But I think with our linebacking core the way it is, I think we just try to contain him and just make sure that we keep everything in front of us. Von Miller has to have a big game. Von Miller on full steam. Thank you guys so much for the comments. This one's interesting. Reed's going to have this game. He's going to have a monster game because everyone's going to be focused on Miller. That's a good point. I do like that idea. But again, you know, those outside guys, the outside rushers, they're not going to be able to go full steam like they normally do at a quarterback. They really have to play that contained to make sure that that they're not getting blocked into where Lamar can have a running lane, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm expecting to see, you know, some inside cuts and spins to the inside. Like I said, both trying to couple the, you know, beating the block as well as containing, rather than, you know, allowing the chips on the outside, which just open up the field. But yeah, you're right. There, you know, I love that last comment from Christopher. You know, it's going to take everyone. It's not as much as it'd be great for Von Miller to have another huge game. He will, one way or the other. We just not. It might be one of those games where we don't see the stats on it. More so him drawing attention, you know, drawing that extra blocker, which opens up somebody else on that one-on-one coverage. And so I think Von Miller is definitely a key. We just may or may not see those statistical numbers that we are used to seeing him when we need him. But either way, it's going to take a team effort for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Spin City, nice name. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a second to get a quick ad break here. As you guys know, if you guys haven't been tracking, we are now part of the Pigskin Podcast Network, which is sponsored by DraftKings. So as we get ready for Week 4, and we're halfway through Week 4 of DraftKings, you don't have to wait. You guys can go if you guys don't have a DraftKings account. Get the DraftKings Sportsbook. It's the official sports betting partner of the NFL, and right now, if you go and create a new account, if you don't have an account with DraftKings Sportsbook, you get $150 instantly if you bet $1 on any football game. So if you take the time now, in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you guys make your account, take one of the lines, $150 free bets on DraftKings right now if you want to take some of these lines on the Broncos. Head over to the DraftKings Sportsbook apps right now and place a bet on $1 for any Week 4 game, including our game, to receive $150 free bets instantly. Obviously, if Sportsbook is not available in your state, DraftKings still has huge cash prizes up for grabs all season long with their daily fantasy contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers free shots at millions of dollars with your first deposit. So please head over, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and use the promo code TPPN and receive $150 in free bets when you place $1. Again, that's the code TPPN this week on DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years or older. New customers only, and a minimum of $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. If you have any questions, go to DraftKings.com. All right. Big game, Jason. Big game.
Here's what why I'm so excited about this game in particular is this is going to be the first true measuring stick on where this team actually is. You know, everyone again keeps pointing out to our strength of schedule so far. Here's the thing: good teams beat bad teams, right? We're supposed to be 3-0. We're 3-0. So, you know, we can check that off the box. The Ravens are a legit Super Bowl contender, I would say. You know, any team right now beating the Chiefs, especially at Arrowhead, in my opinion, is a Super Bowl contender, especially, you know, on the regards of the Ravens. So this is a great measuring stick to see exactly where we line up. You know, I think a lot of Broncos fans are, you know, at least entering the season, you know, under the expectations that, hey, this is a playoff team. We're probably not that Super Bowl caliber level yet. So this is a great measuring stick. If we can get a win, that would be absolutely phenomenal and show just how much improved this team is compared to last year with, you know, all the injuries we had last year, all the the crazy stuff, such as not even having a quarterback for a game. So, really measuring 2 seasons ago, which was a more normal year compared to this year, how far this team has come and how close we are, maybe what minor tweaks do we need to make ourselves into a Super Bowl contender. So it's going to be an exciting game, because I think it's going to be our first measuring stick on where exactly our team lines up right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and that's the basic, I think, right away. This game is where we, like you said, I don't think this game's going to define the rest of our season. Win or lose this game, I don't think this is. If we win this game, we're not going to the Super Bowl. If we lose this game, it's not meaning we're going to miss the playoffs. And I think that's something we're going to have to, at the end of the day, had a couple drinks in us, kind of remember, right, as we finish off.
Yeah, careful on the overreactions either way, right?
Yeah, either way, we're not trying to plan the Super Bowl parade if we win this game. But, this is the first real test. And this is kind of, the first time that the Broncos fans, especially all of us, we really want to see a good game put together against a good team. And I think this is the first time we get to do that. All right, going to some, yes, we're going to still do score predictions here in about 15 minutes. We'll get some score predictions, post your score predictions. At the end of the year, we'll do a drawing. You get something free. I don't know what we're giving away this year, but if you hit it on the head and we get it at the end of the year, if you're the only one throughout the preseason or through the season that gets it on the head, then you get a prize at the end of the year. So make sure you start posting those score predictions. Melvin Gordon, he was on the injury report. Yes, he was listed as questionable, but he is playing. So that's super important. Again, for the Broncos injury report, we have Graham Glasgow, Dalton Reisner, Baron Browning, and Andrew Mintz are both on that injury report. And then the guys that we kind of already knew, Kerry Vincent Jr., as far as that. But yeah, Melvin Gordon's good. I know Shelby Harris was on the questionable list. He will be playing, and so is Draymond Jones. Both of those guys will be playing in today's game. Yep, he was in. Here's Kev at his actual tailgate talk and go Broncos. Of course, he has to put his 2 cents in. Kev, hope you guys are enjoying, having a good time there. Here's a good question, Shadow, from over on our YouTube page. If you guys don't know, we have our YouTube page. Thank you, Shadow, for following over on the YouTube. What does Von get another sack today?
I'm feeling a little spicy, so I'm going to say he doesn't just get a sack. I'm going to say he gets a strip sack today. We're going to see a vintage Von Miller strip sack at some point in this game. That's my prediction.
I love it. I love it. Again, I predicted a turnover. I predicted an interception from Lamar Jackson because I do think we get the pressure. I think he's a smart enough player. He might be the smartest edge rusher in the game, not just a go get the quarterback guy, but you saw it all year so far this year. He's just making the smart plays. He's where he needs to be on the outside run, on the quarterback scrambles. There's going to be a time that Lamar Jackson's going to think he's got an escape, and Von Miller's just going to be standing there ready for him. I love it. Yeah, strip sack. Let's go. Shadow. All right, who's Denver's third wide receiver? I hope it's Hinton, but I like Moore. So Moore is activated for the day. I'm not 100% sure how they're going to play him. This is going to be, we sign a guy on a Tuesday. We have a Sunday game. It's really weird for him to be coming in. If it's anything, it's going to be super simplified for him. But I do think that Deontay Spencer is listed as the third slot receiver. But let's be honest. We all know who our third receiver is. It's Noah Fant. And then our fourth receiver is probably Alberto, right?
Exactly,
and then So yeah, do you have any thought on if how much more we're going to see today?
No, we might see him on the field a decent amount. I think, and I talked about this a little bit Monday night in my show, that I think he's the perfect replacement for what we lost, and he's a guy that can just blow off the top, right? He's a guy that can spread out the defense, make somebody cover him deep, and kind of open up some of that middle of the field. And so he's got the speed, he's got the catching ability, and so. You're right. It's going to be very simple for him. It's going to be a lot of, just go routes, post routes, just blow off that top, get the defense spread out. I wouldn't expect him, he's not going to know the full playbook. So, he's not going to be doing crazy routes or anything like that. It's going to be a lot of, you're just doing a post. And so I think that's what we'll see more out of him, is just that speed level to blow off the top.
Yeah. And that's a big part of that. I mean, that's, the reason we drafted the speedy guys and Hamler was for that reason. We're playing against guys like, the Kansas City Chiefs, who obviously have speed at the receiving, the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost called them Oakland. I had to think about that for a second. The Las Vegas Raiders. They drafted a speedy guy this year too, right? The big thought process is get that speedy slot. It's been working in the past, especially in the AFC West, and that's what we need. I think that's the reason we bring more over. That is a good point. And again, we talked about it on the Bourbon Broncos No BS show. My thought process is the whole thought process to having that speedy guy is to pull the top and pull the safety off so that you can get those deep digs from our, Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick. Those deep digs are open if we can get the protection. If you can pull the safety. And I have full faith if Teddy Bridgewater sees that safety come down and he has somebody over, he'll still throw that ball. It doesn't matter what numbers on the front or back or what names on the back, he's going to throw the ball. So I really like that about Teddy Bridgewater. Baltimore doesn't have the same defense they had in the past. 29th in passing defense this year, 314 yards a game. This leads me into a rager that we took. We took the over on Teddy Bridgewater this week because he almost beat the over last week, and we had that game handed to us. We had it handily. We didn't hand it to us. We had it the whole game. There was no reason for us to throw. He still almost got over 240 yards. His line right now, I think, is at 245. I believe that we can take advantage. 314 yards a game average for Baltimore. Where do you see Teddy Bridgewater this week?
Yeah, it's going to be. I would say it's the over 2. This is the time of year. Every stat you have to take with a grain of salt, right? Because it's far enough in the season where some of the numbers start averaging out, but it has that strength of schedule, right? I mean, look. So yeah, the Ravens have the 29th in pass defense, but look at the teams they've played. They've played very offensive heavy teams, right? Raiders right now are very heavy offensive compared to their defense. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're obviously a heavy offensive team. And so just like the Broncos, we've got the best defense in the league. We've also played some of the worst offenses in the league. And so, you got to everything's with a grain of salt this time of year for me. Because for me, I don't think you start seeing the truth of the matter till about middle of the season. That's when things start averaging out enough where you can really decide, who your top 5 defenses are, bottom 5 defense, top 5 offense, bottom 5 offense. So, Ravens, I would agree in general, the Ravens definitely don't have the defense of the past. Do I think that they're really the 29th? Do I really think they're a bottom 5 pass defense team? No, they're a much better defense than that. So, but with all that being said, I think, Bridgewater's so far really proven himself to being a very smart player and one who can really thread the needle with his passes. His action has been awesome so far. So I would expect him to have a pretty big game here.
Yeah, Jimmy, thanks for that. Thanks for that question, Curtis. You hit on the head. I think he's going to be smart. And that's the one thing that I think we've seen from him, knock on all the wood. He has no turnovers right now. And I think that really shows. And he's thrown it to 9 different receivers the first game, 9 the second, 8 the third game. He is really spreading the ball out. He's just making the smart decision and getting the ball downfield. And I think you guys are right. He's smart and he's going to impress us. This might be the first game, though, that we have to see him in pressure situations. We haven't really seen him in true pressure. We need this touchdown in order to win this game, or we need this touchdown in order to have momentum. This might be the first game that we see that, so I'm interested to see how he does there. Let's see, Miners. Yeah, Miners getting his first shot, the gut, right? I talked about it on the podcast as well. Excited to see him play today. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm interested to see how him and Muti play the full game together. And how they hold up in both the run and pass block, and that's going to be concern in the pass defense. I think they have very good run blocks. The pass block, though, I'm a little nervous about. What do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if early on we see a lot of blitzes. Obviously the Ravens are smart; they're not stupid. This isn't their first rodeo. They're going to know that 2 of their starting guards are out. Let's get on them early. Let's try to destroy their confidence early, get in their head. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to, throw a bunch of blitzes at them. See if they're able to pick up some of those, complex coverages, picking up extra men, all that kind of stuff. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of blitz early on. And so I'm curious, it's another one where I'm curious, how Bridgewater does identifying the blitz, reading the coverage, getting the ball away early, all that fun stuff. But yeah, I think our 2 young guards are going to have their hands full early on. I think they're going to have, it's going to be a bit of a baptism by fire, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's a good point, because this is not an easy interior defensive line to go up against. They're going to have their hands full. Let's see. We talked about the inactive, lots of linebackers. Yeah, a lot of backup linebackers. Luckily, none of our starters other than Josie Jewell, who went out of IR a couple weeks ago. Was it last week that he got the injury, or is it 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So it's tough when we don't have the depth either. So that's gonna be interesting to watch as we go through. Baron Browning is someone that, we picked up in the draft and everyone's been super excited to see, and just has not been able to get healthy enough to get out on that field, which is unfortunate. Le'Veon Bell is playing. Williams is not playing for the Ravens. Le'Veon Bell is playing for the Ravens. He got called up today or yesterday. I don't know if it's practice squad or what, but he got called up from practice squad. This year, for you guys that aren't tracking, this year they have new rules, same as last year with the COVID restrictions. The practice squad is opened up. You can have as many veterans on that if you need to. You can have a certain veteran, so you can put down practice squad basically anybody you want. They picked him up, put him on practice squad. They've pulled him up for this game, so I wouldn't be surprised. This is a question I did want to talk about, Jason, and I want to get your input on this because I talk to Ray all the time about it on the Ragers podcast, and I talk to David about it in the pregame. What's your thought process between, if you had to choose who's going to get more yards in a game, Tim Patrick or Courtland Sutton? How do you figure into this?
I think Tim Patrick is in that perfect position right now of the ideal number 2 wide receiver. And I think we saw this in Pittsburgh with Juju Smith-Schuster, whatever his bringing out the name. But when he was the number 2, he crushed it, right? Because the reason why everyone is on the number 1, right? Best coverage, double coverage. Everyone's picking on Sutton. Everyone's making sure Sutton's covered. So who does that leave? Leaves single man-on-man coverages, single coverages for all the other receivers. And Tim Patrick is a receiver who's good enough to be a number 1 receiver on most teams. So he gets that benefit of not having to worry about number 1 coverage. And so that's not always the case. Sometimes you have, your number 2 receivers are true number 2 receivers across the board. But with this team, with how talented both I think Patrick is, along with obviously Sutton, he's writing that perfect plan for him where he doesn't have to worry about as much coverage as Sutton does. So for me, the way I see it playing out right now is Patrick gets the bigger yards and more games than not, maybe, because he's just maybe not just as talented as Sutton, but he's got clear talent. And so I gotta, if I were to put money on average, my money would probably more times than not go to Patrick than Sutton this year. And again, it's nothing against Sutton. It's just, he's got his hands full with the coverages he has to deal with.
And he's a bigger name, and I think that's the big part. Like I honestly, and even with Judy, and the fact that Judy went down, just the fact that 3-headed monster there, and then add a Hamler, we just started the season off, and Judy is coming back here probably in a couple weeks, which is going to be huge for us. And I think Judy playing in the slot, which is where when he was in college, that's where he played a lot of his snaps out of, was that slot position. So that's a huge point for us when we get him back. But talking about this game, hey, Elway and Patton, I know that you guys have a game to get ready for, and I know you're watching. So sign Tim Patrick right now. Sign him to as a wide receiver to $15 million a year, whatever it is for the next 3 years, so we can just have our wide receiver room set. And so take that to heart. If we get it tomorrow, I'm going to take credit for it. If we sign Tim Patrick tomorrow, I'm taking credit for it. So.
Here first, everyone.
Yeah, here first. All right, Jimmy. Jimmy thinks Patrick's going to have an awesome day. Look, I took Patrick too. I did the same thing, Jason. I said, you know what? I think Patrick's going to have a huge game today. And it's been alternating, and I think that's kind of the pattern I'm seeing. One game you have Tim Patrick play well. The next game you have Courtland Sutton kind of took a little bit of time to get ready, but he in week 3, he just went off. Jerry Jeudy did a really good job one week. I think Tim Patrick is in for a great game. I don't think they have both corners that are able to cover. I think Courtland Sutton might be followed. And Tim Patrick's gonna have a heyday. I agree 100%. I'm also big on the Fant train, right? We talked about that. Who's that wide receiver 3 that we're gonna go out without Hamler? It's gonna be Noah Fant. It's gotta be Noah Fant. He's been disrespected as a tight end in this league for 2 years now, and he's gonna come out and have a great game just like he normally does. I think that's gonna be huge for us. It goes back to my question: Sutton or Patrick? Good, Sutton and Patrick. Yeah, good luck. Good luck trying to cover both those guys. Chubb, nope. Chubb is out. How long is he out for, Jason? Are you tracking?
It's a while. Yeah, it's going to be, if we're lucky, we're talking mid-season. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little longer than that. But it was best case scenario when they went in, they scoped the ankle. They did say it was best case scenario, which was encouraging. But yeah, expect him to miss. But week 4, I would say expect him to miss at least through the bye week, if not a couple games after that.
Yeah, I know they put him on the IR, and IR is minimum 3 games, so he is out. That's why Malik Reed, though, and you know what? And again, talking about this defense and the next man up mentality, this defense has talent upon talent, and I think Malik Reed has done a very good job stepping up, and I think he will this week. I know the defense, Curtis, thanks for the comment. I know defense has been talked about. Do you guys think we will show up, I assume? Yes, I think so. I think our defense is going to be electric. And Jason talked about a strip sack from Von Miller. I'm talking about picks for Lamar Jackson. Look, this Ravens offense, while they're in shootouts with guys like the Raiders and the Chiefs, which again, the Chiefs are going to have shootouts with no matter what team they play. They struggled against the Lions, and their injury woes were not on the offensive side. And I don't see the Lions as a top defense in this league. I think our defense is, and I think we can hold Lamar Jackson. I think we can hold the receivers. A lot of their receivers are on the injury list too. Sammy Watkins didn't practice, so I know he's probably going to be out there. But there's a lot of questions on their offense. Their rookie that they brought up hasn't been able to play. I think, how do I want to put this? I think we're going to have a heyday. I think this is going to really show what Vic Fangio is capable of as a defensive-minded head coach, and I think that our defense is really going to show up today.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think just raw talent-wise, this Broncos team has one of the best defense just on paper. I think when you add in Fangio's game planning, it takes to another level. And, I think it's no secret for Orange Weekly people here that I've been a defender, an apologist for Vic Fangio, especially last year. I was very much an apologist for Fangio and his game planning. And I think his ability last year, especially with all the injuries we were going through and all of that, his ability to at least keep games winnable. How many times have the Broncos been blown out under Vic Fangio? Right. Not many at all, right? And I think that really holds weight when we were talking about, again, the past couple seasons where we were lacking in a lot of areas, right? We were definitely not the most talented team, yet we were playing top end talent and at least having a chance to win those games. And I think that largely goes into that game plan, right? And it's that week by week game plan, right? You can't, in the NFL, you can't just have one blanket game plan that gets you through the season, right? Because you're playing so many different dynamics, right? This week we're playing a very dual threat quarterback versus, in a couple weeks might be playing, we're not, but just for the sake of argument, Aaron Rodgers, right? Who's not a dual threat, but he can air it out.
Or next week we play the Steelers, and I don't think he's running anywhere.
He has a hard time running 2 yards right now. Yeah. So I think, Vic Fangio is an absolute phenomenal game planner, especially in how he game plans for the defensive side of the ball. And so, I totally agree. I think it's going to be a huge game for our defense. I think it's a shut up or put up game for the defense, and I think they're going to put up.
That's well said. I'm not going to add any more to that. That's absolutely well said. Let's see. Going through, Fant needs a big game. We talked about that. I agree. I think he will. I don't think it's a question. I don't think they have. Patrick Queen was somebody. Look, talking about, if you guys have been following Orange Weekly, I was a huge Patrick Queen fan. I wanted us to get him in the draft. I really did. He's not playing well this year, and his pass grade, both the linebackers on their pass grade is below 30s on PFF, which, take it for what it is. PFF, if you guys trust it or not. They also have Justin Simmons as one of the lower rated safeties, so take it for what it is on that. But yeah, their pass grade is not good. I think Fant is going in for a big game. This is a good point, and I didn't really think about it. Real quick, Neil and Natalie, great power and agreement. Our defense will be a beast today. Definitely thanks for that comment. Good way to keep Jackson, and then we have Stearns and Jackson in the back with Simmons to spy on Jackson. I think Jackson spies on Jackson, and we keep Stearns and and Simmons in the backfield at those safety spots. I like that idea. I think Kareem Jackson has the power to be able to come downhill more than the other two. I think he's a little bit more of a physical safety. That's why we have more of the typical original strong safety type position. But yeah, that's a good point. And then remember, Bryce Callahan is also a slot receiver, slot corner that we can keep out there to be able to spy if we need that spy point. Again, I think Vic Fangio is not good. The best part about the Vic Fangio defense, and I think I talked about this on the pregame, the best part about the Vic Fangio defense is it's not difficult. It's everybody does their job. Gap soundness. Everybody stays in their gap. Everybody makes sure that their gap is sound. They have an edge to be able to cover. Then we're good to go. Yep, Simmons is quicker than Jackson. I agree. I do agree on that. You're right. But if everyone does their job, everyone's good to go. And I don't think he's going to go out of his way to make sure that that's happening, right? If we have the edge, he's not going to put a spy. If we don't have the edge, maybe he has a spy, right? Especially spy to the left or spy to the right. But if we have the edge, I don't think he's going to do that, and that's what we're going to see. But again, that gap soundness, that everybody does their job well, and then we're good. Line up in the right position, end up in the right position at the end of the play, and we have a good defense.
Right, yeah. I think you should always play to your strengths to at least start with, right? And, if needed, then you make adjustments, right? But I personally, my own philosophy, it's a mistake to go out of your way to change your entire scheme to start with, just based on one opponent's ability, right? So start out playing to your strengths, do what you think is going to work for you. And then, halftime, if it's just not working, then okay, we're going to change some things up. We're going to make some adjustments on the fly. But yeah, so those are definitely good ideas. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I would be, and I could be totally wrong, but I would be a little surprised if we start out having a spy assigned for Lamar Jackson. But I guess we'll see here in a little less than an hour.
Yeah, now we so as we're getting there, when we have about 30 minutes till game start, let's start getting to some predictions. So start posting your predictions. Again, post your predictions. If you get them right at the end of the year, everyone that got it right throughout is going to go in through a drawing and get a big prize from Orange Weekly. For those of you guys who are watching that were here last year, we did a huge fan appreciation show. It was awesome. Thank you guys so much. We really do this for you guys. We could sit here and talk to each other all day. We love talking to you and getting your guys' points on a lot of this. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, okay, real quick question for everyone on what are you drinking? So I have, this is going to sound like super nerdy, but I'm watching my weight, right? So I have Captain Morgan and Orange Crush has been my Broncos game day drink, and absolutely delicious. But right now, instead of Orange Crush, I'm using I have, what are those, the Soda Streams? I have a Soda Stream thing, and I put the orange stuff in it. It's a little bit better for the health, for the gut. I'm trying not to end up like Quinn Myers out there. But yeah, so that's my drink of the day. I love the orange drink, for the day. We got some Coors Lights out there. All right, yeah. So please start posting your score predictions as we get ready to talk about it. Jason, you want me to go first? You want to go first?
I'll just wing it here. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Like you said, it might be the first time we might have to see Teddy Bridgewater under pressure, getting a game-winning touchdown drive. So with that, I think he pulls it out. I think we will see a game-winning touchdown drive. I'm going to say we'll go with a final of 28 Broncos to a 27 Ravens.
Ooh, 1 point game. So first of all, that does hit the over. Over is 44 right now. So another rager I took. If you still have 20 minutes to jump onto DraftKings.com, get your $125 in free bets and take that over, which I'm going to agree with to the most part. I definitely agree with the over. I think it's going to be over 44. I think that you're right. I think we get a drive put together. But I think we break out one. I think it's going to be 23-20 late, and then we're going to end up on top 27-23. I think what happens is we score with maybe a minute left, and our defense has to stop Lamar Jackson, and we do. And we get the stop to not let him. We're up by 4. They need a touchdown. Bend, don't break mentality. We don't let him in, and we win the game 27-23.
I like it.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, 27-13. I like that. I like that number. That one touchdown for Lamar Jackson and the 4 running backs that they have right now. 35-28. Chris thinks it's going to be a shootout. Which, I love. If we can score 35, look, anytime the Broncos can score more than 30 points, especially in the past, since the Super Bowl, we have not been able to score more than 30 points in a while. And our carousel of quarterbacks / like Peyton Manning in his not so prime, we haven't been able to score 30 points in a long time. So I would love to see a 30-point Denver game against the Ravens. That would be amazing. And talk about putting all this talk in the national media about the Broncos. Oh, well, they played 0-9 teams. If we can go out there and just put up 35 points on these guys, hold them to 28, that'd be amazing. I love it, Chris. That's awesome. 23-14. Again, if we can win by more than a touchdown, the national media either has to do one of two things. Either say that the Ravens suck, which I don't think they're going to do because the NFL is really big on Lamar Jackson right now, right? That's their cash cow, him and Patrick Mahomes. Or they have to tell us that the Broncos are legit. And those are the two options if we can win right that. Same thing, 31-24. I love the optimism, guys. Yep, this is right along what I was saying, 28-23. First team, here's a good point. First team to score more than 25 will win.
I like that.
That's interesting. That's super interesting. I think our defense will keep under 25. I have full faith that we'll keep under 25. So
I like it.
Let's see. 31-27 Broncos. Okay, love it. Hi, Mom. Thanks for watching. 30-27 is her guess. Again, if we score over 30, if we could score over 30, I'm super happy with that. So, as we get to it, Broncos too legit to quit. Love it. Thank you guys so much. Hey guys, as we get ready to wrap up, thank you guys so much for watching the Tailgate Talk. Obviously, we love doing this for you guys. Thank you guys so much. Get over to DraftKings. Use that code TPPN. Get that $150 in free bets if you are someone, if you are out there and you want to throw out some bets. Again, $5. You put in $5, you get 125 free bets. If you lose all the money, delete the app and get out of there. But if not, maybe you win a little bit of something and go home happy. Again, subscribe to Ragers. So let's go down our list, right? We are Orange Weekly, Fans, Brews, Broncos News. We're here for you guys. We really appreciate your guys' support. And we have so many things going on. So halftime hash, make sure you join. Ray is going to be doing the halftime hash today. So jump back onto your phone or your laptop and join Ray for halftime. We have tomorrow night, we'll have Jason will do his late night show. Broncos After Dark. On Tuesday, we have our flagship show, Bourbon, Broncos, and OBS. And then obviously podcast, pregame podcast, postgame podcast, Ragers, and obviously to Tailgate Talk. Thank you guys so much for joining out. Thanks for the score predictions. As we get ready to wrap this up, we're going into Mile High Stadium. We got home game week 2, but really home game week 1. How are we feeling about it, Jason? Last thoughts before we start this game.
Yeah, again, it's going to be an exciting game. It's going to be a good measuring stick. To see how this team compares to legit Super Bowl contenders this year. I think it's a chance to really start turning some heads as well. Like you alluded to, a win today stops all the talk of the Broncos have only won because they're playing easy teams. So, also think it keeps us in that race for the division title, which is weird to be talking about since the Chiefs have had a bit of a rough start. A win today I think would be huge in terms of what we might be seeing at the end of the year. So big game, pivotal game, not the end all be all game, but a big game nonetheless. So.
Yep, absolutely. I'm interested to see how the Broncos face adversity this year. So this is going to be the first time I think every single game in all 3 games the Ravens have played this week have come down to last-minute drives or last-minute crazy something, right? Whether it be the Raiders, the Chiefs, or the Lions in the 70-whatever yard field goal he kicked, ridiculous. Beat Matt Prater's record, which is unfortunate, but I think somebody mentioned on there. Every game has come down to the wire. I want to see what the Broncos do when they have to come down to the wire. It's a put-up, shut-up game. And another thing, too, is this comes down to who wants it more. Does the Ravens want to stop being the team that barely passes the Lions? or do more than the Broncos want to continue and shut up the national media for saying we only beat bad teams? And I think at home, this fan base is going to be loud, and they're going to rile up these Broncos to be able to finish out this game with a win. I can't wait. I'm super excited. We got 20 minutes to the game, and that's where we're at. But again, thanks everybody for showing up. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you guys join us at halftime. Ray will be here to answer all your questions. And hey, Jason, as we finish this off, we just finished off with one last thing. Go Broncos.
Let's go Broncos.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.